The internet brings comic fans around the world into one comic community. We support the just pay and recognition of these comic creators' comic fam. Because comics are for everyone. It's 10 p.m. Eastern, live from the United States to Australia. This is the Not Near Mint Show. Welcome to the Not Near Mint Show, everybody. It is episode 132 on February the 23rd. We are now at the 10 o'clock hour. It is our live weekly episode. In this episode, we have the grand artist on We Ride Titans. If you're not familiar with the comic book, it's about kaiju fighting. Well, he's a little bit drunkish. Well, maybe a little bit more than drunkish. Will he survive? You'll have to read the series to find out. Issue 1 is already out. Issue 2 is out today at your local comic book shop. We are now joined by Sebastián Píriz. Let's join the show, everybody.
Hello, good night.
Yo, what is up?
Welcome to the show, man. So how has it been this since We Ride Titans has come out? How has the response been?
It's been great. First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's been awesome. People is liking it. I think a big part of that is the that you can feel it. You feel that you know these people. You know these are people that maybe are from anybody's family. It feels. I love it. When I read it, I really like it.
So when it comes to drawing the giant kaiju and the giant monsters, what has been your inspiration in doing all this?
We had a meeting, a virtual meeting with Adrian, with the editor, and we were trying to find the look for the robot. And we went for something industrial. You know, the robots look like a mix between racing cars. Tres always talks about racing cars and machines. You know, construction machines. To make them feel unique, not like any robot you saw before. It's not the robots are not the main part of the book. The family is the main part, but they have to feel.
Yeah, that was.
We wanted them to feel different.
That's funny you should say that, because that was my next question. It's like reading issue 1 and 2. Like, it seemed like it wasn't even about like the Titans fighting these like kaijus. It was about like this dysfunctional family and how are they gonna like come back together as like a unit, and can they all heal? You know.
Yes, they are a mess, and I love it. It's a challenge because you have to draw pages and pages of people talking and having discussions, and it's way more difficult than drawing giant monster. You know, every artist is an artist because they want to draw giant monsters, superheroes, that kind of stuff, and then you realize you have to draw 15, 20 pages of people talking. It's way more difficult, but rewarding at the end because it's an awesome script. It's a great book. I'm thankful to be part of this.
And when we hear people like Martin Scorsese try and tell us that comic book movies, comics, it's not real art. Well, one, I always bring up the page from Secret Wars number 8 that sold for $3.3 million, and the fact that people love going to see these movies. And well, as much as I like watching talking heads, Martin Scorsese can film it really well. But overall, between watching Goodfellas and maybe a kaiju monster tearing apart some city, I'm probably going to go with the giant monster tearing apart a city.
Yeah, because for me at least, I'm a kid again. I see three Spiderman at the same time, and I'm 14 years old again. And and I love these serious movies, but superhero movies, and mostly this last 10 years of superhero movies, that all of them are good. You don't have a bad movie. You have less good movies, but all of them are enjoyable, are good movies, and you can't go against that. You can go against what you feel.
I mean, there's even been some of these lately, very small budget, low budget movies that have come out, and they take on really huge subjects. Things like Chronicle, or this other movie, I think it was just called Monster, where it was this girl that thought that she could create a monster in her head, and all of a sudden it pops up on TV. And you only see it for a couple moments, but they show just that in the trailer. So you think it's all about this giant monster movie. And really, it's about her struggles with her depression and mental anxiety. And it was just a great story. But if you were going in there thinking it was all about kaiju, well, it might not have been your thing. But that's what I love about Subversion, because when you go in there expecting something and you all of a sudden go, wait a second, there's a whole different subtext going on. I need to know what happens next.
Yes, we had a few years ago, you had a lot of people saying superhero movies will die, and instead of dying, we are like in phase 2, where we have all this. Okay, it's a superhero movie, but it's about depression. It's a superhero movie. It's a kaiju comic, but it's about family. It's great. I'm happy with that.
So taking on the lead character now, he has alcoholism, and this is something that's close to me. I myself, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Watching this person at the very onset of the book, you already know right off the bat this guy is intoxicated, and things aren't going to go as well as he might expect. So taking that, what has been your experiences to put into this character?
Well, my mother was alcoholic. I grew up with her. I recognize what Tres wrote in the character, that I wouldn't call it overconfidence, but lack of. I'm looking for the word. You don't see consequences in what you do. Everything is okay. You don't have to take things serious.
It's just, at least that's, you don't think that anything bad will happen to you until it does.
Or to the people around you. In the case of Dej, it's not just his family that okay, it's a very complicated family, but it's the whole city. And it's not that he doesn't care about the city, it's that he can't care about them. That's how I see it from my experience, at least. In issue 2, you have a beautiful conversation with his sister at the beginning of the issue, where she tries to be there for him. And in my experience, that won't work that well for them, for the family. It's not that simple. I mean, Kid thinks she can just talk him out of his problems, and I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I don't think that's gonna be that easy.
So when you've been getting these scripts here from Trey, what's that like, getting in the script and then having to take what he's given you and turn that into the pages? Has there been a lot of back and forth, or has it been just descriptive enough to go, you know what, I can work with this?
No, not a lot of back and forth. He sends full script. I know he talks a lot with Adrian, but and he's open for me for the questions. I ask a lot of questions, maybe too many, but more about, do you want to see this like this? Do you want the gun in the robot this way? It's not deep questions. The the family scenes, I work on them, I send them, and they, at least for now, I'm looking at the page in the computer. At least for now, they are okay. I work a lot on them. Sometimes it's not that easy because I want to get the acting right. I want to. There's a couple of panels that I shared today where one of the panels is just silence. It's the father. No, yeah, the father pointing at kid and not knowing what to say.
Oh, that was a great moment.
It was a great moment, and I feel that I had to get it right because otherwise it doesn't work. If I don't get the timing right, the time and I'm not sure if I did it. I mean, I'm happy with it, but maybe next week I won't be happy with it. It's the eternal story of the artist. What I mean is, I feel a lot of responsibility trying to put those moments into the pages. It's the fightings are fun. I have a lot of fun making robots hitting kaiju. That's easy, you know. The other part is where I draw and I redraw and I try and the eyes and the mouth. I try a lot. I know that much.
Well, I'll say this: you like that part you're talking about because like that hit home for me because my dad was very like my dad wasn't physically abusive; he was mentally abusive, and he played a lot of mind games with me as a kid. And that part when he's like threw that monster on her back randomly and he smiled, he gave a little smirk. It was like he wasn't doing that to train her. That was like he was manipulating her. And that's my dad did the same thing to me when I was a kid. So I think you were on point with getting the emotion.
Thank you. I try.
And considering you have a bunch of people here that are into film, anime, manga, comics, we're looking at this book here, and it kind of has a little bit of everything and all for the person that wants to get that drama of the series, the action. We're kind of hoping that Hollywood might pick it up so that way you can get a little bit of money on the side and then fund a project.
That wouldn't be bad. That would be great. I think it's a good. I'm trying to finish this week an issue. The next issue have a lot of action, a lot more of action than the first two, but still during the action you have a lot of these family drama, family problems. It's not just even in the heavy action. You still have the same story and how the characters react to it. As you saw in issue 2, where it's after all it's a training montage, but that same abuse from the father is taken to the real battles. So I think. Even though you have kaiju and giant robots, I think it wouldn't be so hard to translate to the movies. I finished a comic for heavy metal that was one human and all the rest were aliens, and I know nobody's gonna make that. Maybe in 50 years.
But you worked on Kanto, and that is going to be a movie.
It is.
Yes, but okay, but maybe something that I drew ends up in Kanto, but Kanto is I don't have the names in my. It's them, the writer and the artist. It's their project. I was a guest there, and if they go to what I did, it will be great. But I know it's not mine, I was just having fun there.
Just as long as you didn't create some great, big, huge character that winds up becoming even more beloved than Kanto. And then one day that gets turned into a movie, and much like Ed Brubaker when they did Captain America Winter Soldier. And here we get Kevin Smith asking the question, so what's it like when you have that movie made and they use your character in there? Well, it would have been a lot better if I got paid for it.
No,
What do you think?
Kanto is a charming character. I drew a few giants. I drew a mechanic monster. None of them is destined to be the next Baby Yoda. They would look cool if they ever put them in the movie, but I know that it's them. They are making something so good with Kanto that again, I was lucky to be that little part. Those 3 issues I did.
I mean, largely, we're comic book fans here. In case you haven't been able to tell from like my actual background here,
the half justice.
I love, and this isn't even a comic shop. This is just a spare bedroom. Don't be me, kids. There's something wrong.
My camera is wrong, but if I put it that okay. That is
nice.
a lot of.
Room
you
shot.
have everything. You have Master of the Universe, Star Wars, droids, Transformers. You have and books, of course.
Awesome.
It's beautiful.
And a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on getting more trades for sure. You have like a huge collection.
The problem is that here you can't buy floppies. There are no local versions of the floppies, and you can't import them. So I can't buy floppies. The comps are the first floppies I'm getting for years. So I buy everything is trades that I buy imported because. I get them a little bit cheaper than if I go to a comic store and buy the stuff in English. And it's in some aspects it's not easy to be a fan down here.
Yeah.
Well, we have from around the world, like Whack Comics over in Australia. If a book costs $3.99 the week of release, he's paying at least $10 for that book.
It's crazy. I cannot imagine that.
Yeah, well, everything. It's way more expensive, and these last years, at least I can buy them. Some years ago, you weren't even able to buy stuff from the US. The local publishers that translate stuff were all broken. So broke is that the word? No money. You
like me, broke.
Broken. No, broke. That for a few years, it was almost impossible to get new stuff, and there are lots of fans here in Argentina. People, there's a good amount of comic lovers and comic creators too. Great comic creators. I think that today's best comic artist is from Argentina. I don't know him personally, but Tedesco. He's
Tedesco.
I think currently he's the best one doing covers. Those.
Here's another one. I don't know if you've seen his covers yet. He just started doing a run of 12 covers weekly for Detective Comics. Irving Rodriguez. This guy is a master painter, and if you give me a second, and you guys take over for a second, I can show you a couple covers. But wow, sometimes people just pop out of nowhere, and it's not even nowhere. He was a fine artist painter in DC. Just said, "Hey,
obviously,
give this a shot." Okay,
sure, why not?
Yeah, it's everybody's dream. Except I would love that to happen. Except if they say. You are doing Superman comics covers next to Tedesco because you can't. It's like next to the best. You can't do a lot.
All right, here we go. Ooh. So these are from the last 2 weeks. There's another one that came out today, and the sad thing is I haven't gotten around to reading it because one of the annoying things about DC Comics is they release 2 books a month for all their titles, and there's a lot that comes out. But let's blow me up just real quick. New artist that just came out of nowhere. This was one of the best covers of the year.
Yes.
He's able to do women like no problem, but once he got a hold of doing just amazing style and art. But that's somebody
There,
else.
there,
Coming
there
to
are
you, go ahead.
yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, coming to you, how did you get into doing comic book art? I mean, you're probably a little bit closer to our age. What led you into doing this?
Um, I, I I always loved to draw, but I didn't have comic books in my house. You know, I watched the Ninja Turtles on TV, and I drew Ninja Turtles. I watched.
Same
Uh,
here.
it was the cartoons, and then I saw this weird game with weird characters for Sega Genesis that I didn't have one. One guy threw laser from the eyes, another one had claws. They were awesome. They were awesome in a video game. And from those X-Men in the game, I found the cartoon a few months later, I guess, and it was incredible because to that point, the only superheroes I knew were Spiderman and the Super Friends. There weren't other superheroes. All repeats in the very few cartoons we were able to watch on TV, because I'm gonna sound like a very old guy, but we didn't have cartoon channels, or not to talk about streaming, you know. And then I saw the X-Men, and then I saw one floppy in the newsstands, and they were still awesome, by Jim Lee and the Portasio, I believe. From then I began buying my own comics with the money for the bus, and one day I opened one by Show Madureira, and I said, this is what I want to do, because the style was fresh, it was different, it was the characters looked so good, and it was stupid. It was the X-Men playing baseball. That first page, I didn't know. That first page with where Cyclops looks actually slim. You know, he wasn't. He wasn't pumped, and he was to throw walls. So the body language was different. I understand now. That day I said I want to do this, and I didn't have internet. I had no clue how I was going to do it, and I began drawing, trying to study. I couldn't study a lot. Then I started sending samples to publishers. I did a couple of issues that were never paid by some sketchy publisher that a lot of people know that is sketchy to
We did a couple episodes on them. We know exactly.
Yes. But with those issues, I was able to say I'm a publisher artist, so I went to do another, and everything I see from that age, it's hideous. I want to make. I want to burn it. I didn't, but I should maybe. It's so ugly. I remember a reviewer that say they should fire the editor that hired this guy.
Oh no,
Sebastian, I want you to listen to me as I say this, and I'm even going to blow myself up. So there is no such thing as making a mistake. I mean, they exist in theory.
Yes.
But if you learn from them, they're not really mistakes, they're learning experiences. And if somebody gave you a critique that was constructive and you learned something from it, then everything that you did in the past, not so bad. It's just building upon the future.
Thank you. I try. I try to learn with everything I do, and critiques obviously hard, but I think I've learned to go past the pain and understanding that sometimes they are right, or other time they are not. There's a lot of people that simply like to be hurtful.
Yeah, some people
That's the internet.
I agree.
That's the internet. But today I'm pretty happy with what I do. There's you always have this imposter syndrome in the back of the head, but knowing that it exists, at least I'm functional, you know.
Here's something I really like, and I always want to impress this upon anybody I meet, especially when it comes to the comic book world. You've already said that you watched the X-Men animated show, the Spider-Man animated show. It influenced you, and the movies that are coming out today, whether it's the Spider-Man, and I'm not talking about the live action, great as that might be, but the Miles Morales animated movie. You're having people not just from America, but all over the world watching this, and they're inspiring a whole new generation. And those people, they go to pick up a comic, and that comic might be your comic, Sebastian. And if they're looking at that comic, especially if they're a young kid, because hey, we're old now. I'm 42. I don't know how old you are, but there's a kid that's 8 years old, 12 years old. They go into a comic shop, everything might be sold out, or maybe they actually get there on a Wednesday and go, hey, what's this? We Ride Titans issue 2. What about issue 1? Sold out, kid. Damn it. Well, open up number 2. Whoa. And then they start drawing the same thing you did over and over and over. You might be laughing, but I guarantee you at least one kid from around the world, if they picked up that book, will be doing that. So if you're an artist and you keep working, eventually you influence somebody that will come up to you, shake your hand, and go, thank you for everything you've done.
Well, you're making my day. It's the dream, you know. I don't really want people to know me because I'm shy, because I'm awkward. But
we're comic nerds. We're all introverts.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise, you wouldn't spend hours and hours and hours drawing. But I love when people talk about my work, and it's so amazing and weird when people that I don't know talk about my work, because the Twitter, there's a lot of interaction with people every day, and they talk about what you just released, and you know they know who you are. But then people talk about it, and I'm starting to see people talk about my work without knowing me, and it's mind-blowing. I don't think I'll ever get used to that. I hope I never get used to that.
But you speak multiple languages, so it can be kind of like this. When somebody doesn't realize that you speak English too, you just sit back and listen. Yes. And after they're done, you just go, thank you for that information, and then walk away. Minds.
Yes. Yes.
But ultimately, yeah, you're going to have a lot of people that will talk about your work because you put that work out there. It's good. It's solid. People are talking about it, not just on small little channels like us, but you're even having people like Comic Tom talk about it. You're having even Reggie talk about it here and there. This is a book that's getting out there. It's getting known. And ready or not, here comes a little bit of notoriety.
Okay. I guess I have to get used to it, I guess. I don't know.
Ultimately, you just go, thank you, even if it's the weirdest thing, like some woman going, can you sign my breast? Or some guy going,
no,
back there.
No, because I had to get back home. I like to sleep in the bed. So, no. I enjoy a cozy bed at the night. So, I don't know, I may sign books, I may sign not breast.
It's like, only paper, please.
Please. And yes, that I show photos of conventions to my wife. She's absolutely the most non-comic person you may think about. and I say, look, what if this cosplayer comes and wants a picture with me, and maybe it's an anime cosplayer that gorgeous, and my wife is, I think she's beautiful, but she doesn't dress like an anime cosplayer, you know. and she doesn't want anime cosplayers.
14.
Yes.
By the way, most of them are 14.
Yes. of course. But even grown-ups, I wasn't thinking about the age, because it's an hypothetical. It's something we talk. Something I do to tease her, but not something that actually happened to me. The only con experience I had was some guy that gave me the fanzine they did, and when they realized that I wasn't the famous artist they thought, they took it back. They awkwardly took it back. They were giving. That's my only experience.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly like that. I would have left it. But obviously they had a limited amount of them, and I wasn't worth one. That's my only.
Sorry, I'm not Jim Lee, asshole.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt. I was doing a web comic, and I thought, oh, you know who I am? That's so good. No, that hurt. But no.
Did somebody bought the book today? Well, if you bought the book, there's a lot of people that bought your book today.
Yes, today. Yeah. I think it was almost over. I can't find the word. Damn. Okay, no more books to buy. I don't speak a lot of English. I write every day. I read every day, but I don't speak it because everybody speaks Spanish here, obviously.
I live in Miami. Everybody speaks Spanish here too. I can only speak one thing in Spanish, but I can do it perfectly. But once I do it, it's rendered completely useless. No entiendo mucho español. Solo hablo poquito. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. You see it only once, okay. But you can use it with different people.
Well, that was the one thing I learned from Pimsleur, and then I got the job doing court reporting. But that other thing that you were saying before about that guy pulling away the comics, it could have been much, much, much worse. Earlier today, and I'm going to leave on this thought, and then I'm going to hand it to you to say where you're going to be. So earlier today, there was an article that was run on the internet about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and how difficult it was filming it, and all the actors and actresses going, it was smelly and hot and horrible. And they used a photograph of the cinematographer for Daniel Pearl. It was not the correct picture of the correct Daniel Pearl that was the cinematographer on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was the person that had his head cut off by in Iraq, like one of those videos from the early 2000s.
No,
they used his picture.
No, that
research helps.
Yeah, you have to be sure what you're putting on an article. You should. You have to double check.
It's like saying, here's a picture of Mr. Sebastián Píriz, and then I put Comics on the Mind's face.
Yeah. No, but to be fair, Google can deceive you. I know it. I Google a lot myself, for obvious reason, and the variety of images you can get from, I don't know, some and maybe a review of a comic is at the bottom of the page of some other article, and that not to count that there's an Uruguayan football player that has my same name. So if you Google my name, you find a football player, not me. You have to Google my name next to comic artist.
That is hilarious.
No, that's sad. That's not good. I want my people I want people to find me.
When looking up your social media address, I put in Sebastián Píriz, and your name actually came up first. So that means you are definitely getting some traction out there.
Yeah, I'm going places. People, one day people will actually give me their fanzine, knowing that it's me. maybe.
That'll be us. We know you. I'd say come to America, but we kind of have a gun problem here.
Yeah, and it's far also. It's far and it's expensive.
And there's COVID, and you're in a metal tube with other people that definitely have COVID.
Yes, that's not ideal. I'm vaccinated. That's a plus.
Yeah, we kind of have a thing around here. Rule number 1, don't die. And the rule number 2 is that don't be a dick. And I was told long ago by, I believe it was Stanley, if you want to survive in any career, it doesn't matter what it is, especially comics, 1, be a superstar. Not everyone can be a superstar, but you're seeming to be a pretty damn good superstar coming up. And number 2 is always get your stuff in on time, whatever it is, just be timely. And 3, get along with people. And you are one of the nicest people we've met on this show. Thank you so much for coming on our show this week. We Ride Titans. Issue number 2 is out today. Issue number 1's on sale. The subsequent dates you will see on our banner page. Otherwise, Sebastian, where can people find you? Tell people if you're going to be making any appearances or your social medias or how people can reach you.
No. There are. I guess there will be conventions here, but I'm not going to any. So people can find me mostly on Twitter. The Twitter screen is open most of the day in my computer. I try to reply to everybody, at least a tiny thank you. I try to read and reply everybody. Please read my comics. I'm working with some great, terrific writers. In the case of We Are Titans, also colorists. I'm in some good stuff. I'm part of some good stuff.
Well, we're looking forward to reading the rest of the series. It is on my pull list. I'm going to make sure that, well, the first issue is good, but it's one of those, I need to read this all in one shot, kind of like Tom King sort of thing, because this is more nuanced. It's not just a simple bash 'em up action. This is going to be something worthy of reading.
Yes.
Sebastian, go ahead.
No. Okay.
I was just going to say, thank you so much. You get the last word. Otherwise, we're going to wind up cutting on over to a little segment that we call Comic Book Therapy, where we show new books that came out over the course of the week. And this was kind of one of those really heavy weeks. So we don't want to keep you if you're busy, and it's also midnight-ish your time. But if you want to see the books that came out, you're more than welcome to hang.
Well, thank you very much for having me and for the nice chat we had.
I enjoyed it so thoroughly. Next time you have any book that is coming out, you are more than welcome to come on here. We want to get the word out because the show we do around here, we could get people that are from Marvel or DC, but we want to make sure that the publishers that are with the rest of the other big two get the notoriety that they deserve, because everyone knows Superman and Spiderman, but people need to know we ride Titans.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to start showing some books. So Ace, Comics on the Mind. Sebastian, if you're ready, we're going to do our comic book therapy section. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm going to get what I want.
Christ.
Comic books. Comic books. Comic books.
Oh my god.
Comic books.
Let's get some
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 Comic books. We have a weird little intro for everything.
So awesome.
So what'd y'all pick up? Kirk, did you make it to the shop to pick up a couple books? Or did anything come in the mail? Okie dokie. Ace, anything picked up or coming through the mail?
Yes.
All right, because Caroline, hopefully we will rejoin her on Friday over on her show. So let's see what you got, Ace. What did you pick up?
So, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, all I got was a Vault stuff and the Rio Uze. So, we ride Titans.
Woo whoop.
We Ride Titans. And We Ride Titans, the John Gallagher cover.
That is a boss cover right there.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Got him.
And I have 2 more covers of We Ride Titans are supposed to come in tomorrow. Then Faceless 3 #1.
I think you got more than one copy, didn't you?
Faceless 3 #1.
Oh, that's the best cover right there.
Hold on. All right, Faceless 3 #1.
Uh-oh.
It's
Awesome.
covered.
There is some boobies and vagina and booty on it. So,
Nope, stop talking, go to jail.
Faceless 3 #1, the beginning season cover. And Faceless 3 #1. And finally, Faceless 3 #1. That's it. That's all I got.
That's everything?
Yep.
That's everything. Oh, Lordy. So I guess that means I have to show all the crap I got.
Yep.
Which
Show
sounds
it.
really bad because I don't want to call
Show
it
it.
crap. But the fact is, we're now at about 4 weeks and I have not read really more than 4 comic books, and one of them being Saga, and I cannot even remember Saga that well. I need to regain my focus again. But this is why we call this comic book therapy, right? So I'm going to start pulling some of the books that came out today. So we got The Independents.
How big is that independent stack?
It's sadly the smallest stack because I wasn't even able to pick up issue #2 of We Ride Titans. So hopefully that will be coming in next week for me. Otherwise, I'll go and look for that this weekend. So let me pop on over to this camera. All right, let's see if I can get better light.
Let there be light.
Lights.
What up, Planet Arizona?
All right, let's get the All right, so now I can see everybody and everything. So here I will place some comic books. Oh, hey, Planet Arizona, how you doing, man? It was a good new comic book Wednesday, but holy crap, it was pretty heavy. Hopefully, it's not so heavy that you can all afford your heating bill. I don't mean to laugh, but I just know how awful that sounds. Here we got Department of Truth. Latest issue. I guess this is going to follow up the rest of, I think this is a new story.
What issue is this?
16.
Dang.
I actually read the last one. Don't ask me what happened. Gunslinger.
No, I've only read the first 3 issues.
In this one, Gunslinger, I met a guy over the weekend at the Renaissance Festival, and this guy, he's into Spawn, so I might be able to dump my Spawn.
Trade.
I also saw another guy on YouTube that is more or less a comic book dealer, and he accidentally bought a trimmed copy of Black Panther's first appearance, where the whole book was like this much cut. And I'm like, you know what? I'll trade you the whole box of my Spawn for that. I don't care if it's trimmed. I just want it. This, speaking of weird cuts, leading into the next one, we get Heavy Metal Drummer, and this is another one of those weirdly cut books. So it looks cool. I just wish that comic book companies would stop doing this. Next up, we got House of Slaughter #5. I don't know if this is going to be one of those where we just tour around different people in the universe of House of Slaughter, or if they're going to conclude the story. Well, I just finally got all the trades to the rest of Something's Killing the Children, so I'm caught up on that. Now I got to dig into this series. I only read the first issue and went, oh yeah, I kind of recognize him from the first volume. Like, you got to read that before you read this, Rob. And this will be turned into a David Fincher movie. And I basically ordered it just based on the previews alone telling us that. Next up, this has been offered over and over and over again is Orphan and the Five Beasts by James Stelko. The series has been kick-ass weird. If you're into that whole, hey, here's a giant guy that can get punched in the stomach and blow up sort of stuff, this is your book. And it's some really cool art by the guy that did Orkstain. Saga's new issue 56, and every single one of these is going in Mylar right away because Saga's that good. It's my favorite ongoing, and it's back after 3 years. Last up for the new books for the independents is Step by Bloody Step, out from Image Comics today by Spurrier. All right, and Alex Segura. No, I thought it was Alex Segura. Begara. All right, next up. DC's a little bit lighter, and Marvel went way too heavy today. Action Comics came out. This is
Hey,
issue.
Rob.
Yes.
Is Sebastian backstage? He said he accidentally exited out.
Oh, he can come back in just by clicking the link.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that he dropped. I don't want to embarrass anyone. Because I'm the type of person that's just going to accidentally, just all of a sudden, just be gone.
No!
I'm back. I promise. I'm not that evil. Just my last name's work. It doesn't mean that I'm like the worst. Only a little sometimes. Action Comics 1040. This continues on his story with the freaking authority. This is some cool stuff by Johnson. Next up, we got Aquaman. This is the Black History Month variant cover. I'm not really an Aqua person fan, so I just dig this cover. That's why I got it. And it kind of looks like Michael B. Jordan a little. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything. Private chat. What's going on in the private chat? Hey, we have the rejoin of Sebastian. Sorry about that, man.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And moving on, we get DC Comics Blue and Gold. This is a fun little story by Dan Jurgens, and looking forward to see how this wraps up. 2 more issues left. Catwoman, holy crap, we got a nice looking Jeff DeCall cover. And while I don't read it, Deadly Class issue 51 came out today, also with a Jeff DeCall cover. And well, if you're just a Jeff DeCall fan, you should probably pick that up too, because those last 2 issues are going to be very low print. Next up, we get another copy of the B cover of Catwoman, just because I'm a cover buyer when it comes to Catwoman. Haven't read most of the series. They put out a lot. Just like I haven't read a single issue of this DC versus Vampires. And I love the art. I just wish it just wasn't so dark. But I imagine it's cool because it's vampires and it's painted and it's DC. And eventually one day I'll get around to reading it. Just like this. Irving Rodriguez. This is one of those cover of the weeks. It's a good cover, but it's not as great as the Penguin one that he just did. So I guess he's probably getting around the period where he's just trying to get some of the quickies out before he gets to the ones that he really puts in a ton of work. But I'm sure this was no easy job to bang out. Next up, Detective Comics 1054. This is the Lee Bergermo cover. And when it comes to Robin covers, most people aren't going to try looking for a Robin cover. But if you're going to look for a Robin cover, oh boy, that is pretty. Sorry, Robin. Even I like that. All right, this is another one of those. It's Tom King. And, well, this is a series that's by Tom King that anything that's written by him, you can't just read issue by issue, because if you read it from the next month and you're reading 30 or 40 or 50 other titles like I am or Ace does, what happened in the last issue? That was a lot of information.
Only like 30 titles.
You read like 10 times more than all of us do combined.
I do. I read a lot.
Yeah, you do. And
Times 3.
Times 3.
On a bad day.
Hey, we find out who the real Red X is in this book. I mean, probably not, because I kind of...
For real?
It's not for real. It's Brick. He first appeared in that Infinite Frontier issue 0. You saw him again in the first issue of this. Well, I guess Brick is Red X. And I kind of fell off around issue 8, because if you're not going to... All right, there's something that was told in Socrates long ago. Never bring a cannon on stage unless you plan to use it. This is a problem that I had with Amazing Spider-Man when they did not bother letting us know who the hell Kindred was for about 60, 70, 80 issues. After about 8, I'm going to lose interest if you don't expose who the person is. I mean, just ask
I
what
did.
happened to Hobgoblin. Wait, what happened? You did what? You dropped
I
it?
lost interest. Yeah. Oh, I dropped that super early.
It's one of the annoying things when there's just so much of a particular product. Sometimes it's great having one. Sometimes 2 is good. We don't need 12 or 20 X titles or Bat titles or Bat adjacent titles. Give us more We Ride Titans. Right, Sebastian?
Sorry,
Give us more We Ride
I didn't understand the last sentence.
No, I always throw it to people because no one knows what I'm saying at the time. I just said,
No, I was hearing about when you have a mystery that is too long, but I didn't get the last thing about.
Oh, I
We Ride
moved on
Titans?
from the mystery, which a mystery is great, especially when we're talking about things like, I don't know, who is Wolverine's real first name? Great. Okay, so we get Wolverine's first name about 30 years after he makes his first appearance.
Yes.
But if you ask a question and it takes 3 years to answer it, no one cares anymore. And then you have the X titles, which 1 is good, 2 fine, but then you get 12, 20 X titles, some of them ongoing, some of them limited series. I would rather get more original stuff than, hey, let's just spin off something because we know we can make $1. Throw the new person on the book.
Yeah, but I have the idea that we are living in a golden age of indie stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much great stuff, and that's awesome. I guess I would like to have half of the books in Marvel and DC to that are out of continuity, just creators doing cool stuff, and then half of the book with the universe. I love the universe, the shared universe, but there could be so much great stuff done if you don't have the constraint of having to see what all the other people are doing.
Yeah, and half the time, if you're looking at what other people are doing, you're just going to wind up slightly aping off of one another. Like about a decade ago, you have Winter Soldier, and around the same time, you get Red Hood. And the storylines seem to almost correlate because they were feeding off of one another because artists and writers in the community, who else do you have to talk to other than the people that you work with? I mean, that's kind of how Monster from Barry Windsor Smith wound up. They stole elements of his story from Monster to use as Bruce Banner's father being an alcoholic and abusive. And none of that would have come to fruition if it wouldn't have been for Barry Windsor working on the book to begin with. And then he went, no, I'm going to do my own thing. And Marvel went, I like that. I'm going to steal it. It's mine now.
Yes. Yes, yeah, I remember reading about that. Well, but it's the way it works. I'm happy there's a lot more besides that today. You still have that. You still have somehow Spider-Man in 3 teams the same day, but you also have Saga. We're in a good place.
I even love that one issue, and I think it was a Jason Aaron written one where it was Wolverine's schedule of a week, and it shows him Sunday spending time with Spider-Man, Monday X-Men Blue Team, Tuesday Gold Team, and every day it was something. And I just went, I thought he was just an alcoholic nut here that just liked to fuck things up. Whoever knew it was actually organized.
The healing factor.
Truly.
By Tuesday, by Wednesday, I wouldn't get up. It's like whatever.
Man, I am a nobody court reporter. I do not have to be like some attorney that has to ask the questions. I'm just here pushing buttons like a monkey. And the last several days, I've done non-jury trials until 9 o'clock at night, waking up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm doing it again tomorrow too. I'm exhausted now. I don't know how Wolverine could do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and go, I'll just have another beer. Skin it. I'm the best there is at what I do, except sleep.
And Wolverine doesn't have a shop. You know, Spider-Man does have a shop. Sometimes he's a teacher. Sometimes he's
and he's always How does Wolverine?
But you know, but we are cynical because of the age. Because when you're 20, you don't care that you want to see Spider-Man in more places, but we're tired. We have to get up with the kids, with paying bills, with work, and we see the characters doing that, and we said, nah. I believe in the Adamantium class. I don't believe in him being in 3 teams. That's where
You know what? I think this has actually started to make sense now because of the age factor. That when we think about the older generation, and I don't mean people like us in our 40s, I mean people that are closer in their 70s or 80s. Like this one attorney I had earlier in the week, that this guy wanted us to come in person. Why? Because we could do this by Zoom. Well, if I had to do it in my young age this way, you have to do it this way. You should work as hard and long as I do. Man, I don't want to work 100 hours a week like you do. I want to have a quality of life. That's the difference between the elderly and the younger generation now.
Yes.
So Wolverine,
I want to have a life
worker.
Yeah, he's like 150. I don't know. I lost count.
Born in the 1800s. You're not working hard enough. And get off my lawn. So I have Marvel books still. Ace, you said that you had something to show?
Oh yeah, I have 3 things, and they are going to shock y'all.
Oh, shock us.
Is it a Marvel book?
No, it's more Maria Levay.
Oh.
Got another Faceless 3 #1.
Nice.
And Faceless 3 #1.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Then Faceless 3 #1. And I ordered it so quickly that I got the first copy.
Just realized it's midnight and Sebastian might get the question, honey, what was that?
The chat silences the little videos. These chat silences.
Yeah, we just drop really weird things on this show. We're not going to do a banger alert tonight because we don't want to drive Ace crazy. So here we go. Marvel Comics. I did not get any back issues, and I have to wake up at the ass crack of dawn tomorrow. So here we go. Marvel Comics. This was not a light week. All Marvel. All freaking Marvel.
Gross. It should have been all copies of these.
You got some second prints in there? You got some second prints in there, don't you?
I have a couple. A couple. All right, so here we go. Gonna blow myself up. We got Amazing Spider-Man number 90. I only picked up the cover A because fun character, but don't we have enough goblins? And Ashley Kafka.
Broken.
Okay, this one was cool. Why? James Stelko, he did the cover, and on the interior, you get the return of Spider Carnage, from what I hear. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I haven't read anything. I suck. I'm the worst. Here is Black Widow, where she gets to meet up again with the Living Blade. And the last time that she met him, from what we know, it didn't work out so hot. So, yeah, this is one of the best new series of Marvel. And I'm glad that it's still going at this issue.
Who's the cover artist on that? It's really pretty.
Adam Hughes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, all the covers are by Adam Hughes. He incorporates the logo into the title of the book. It is awesome.
I like that concept.
All right. Just like, when Steranko was working on Incredible Hulk's annual. Here we get Captain Marvel issue 36. This is, I believe, the conclusion to the last of the Marvel storyline. This has been a really good storyline, and they're introducing a concept where she needed to get out of a sticky situation, so she was locked in pretty much a inescapable pod, ejected into space, and she went binary and it left the pod, and it's now capable of independent thought. Binary is now her own new character.
Oh wow.
Carnage Forever, and this is one of those, I'm pretty sure if you don't read this and you're reading Venom, you're probably going to be a little bit lost. And they apparently introduced some new character in the Carnage outfit, but I'm a little over the symbiotes. Meanwhile, Tom Taylor is killing it over here on Dark Ages. This is a great little book for when the Marvel Universe loses power permanently. And this is one of Peach Momoko's best recent covers as of late. Usually it's pretty simple, and this one's simple too.
That's actually really good.
It's so elegant.
It's always hit or miss with me with her. Like I either like hate it or I'm just.
I mean, lots of empty space at the top. Very washed out look, but it's elegant. It's pretty. I like it. And I didn't find today because I didn't order it because they didn't have a picture of it. The Iron Man 14, the Sway cover. That thing's going for about $30 now. This is the second print of issue 2 of Devil's Reign. As a series, this is a hard one to find in the first print because it came out right around the start of beginning of Omicron.
I needed it too. Is that second print you said?
That was second.
Oh,
and this is that one just came out today. This is the cover A to Villains for Hire. This is the Thunderbolts team as run by what's his name? Kingpin. What's his name? Jesus. Wilson Fisk, Rob. Get some sleep. Elektra with a John Boy Myers cover. The cover A was really nice.
They're doing black and white and blood too.
Yeah, that's what it is. Black, white, and blood. So the whole thing is in black and white with hints of red. And whenever she kills somebody, it's not a hint. It's like a fucking lot. Speaking of a lot, Ghost Rider #1.
Oh,
Ghost Rider.
I can't believe that came out.
#1.
Scotty Young? Scotty Young?
No, Scotty Young. He had a Scotty Young, but somebody wound up flipping this over, and now there's like a color break. I would have picked it up for you, dude. I would have, but I'm like,
I didn't even realize this was coming out today. I'm like so behind.
And this is the Fornus cover where now he had. It's weird in the.
Is this Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider?
Yeah, and he has a new
nice
position now. There's a whole new government agency that's hunting for him. But what I was going to say about George Fornus here, that certain artists have just developed a style that has suited them and sold them a ton of books. Fornus started doing this with the Amazing Spider-Man covers, and now he's killing it in all these other ones like this. And maybe like Scotty Young doing the childlike covers, these work. I like it. So those were the Ghost Riders. And I picked up whoever would have thought years ago that you would have rather have had the other cover rather than the Alex Ross. I mean, this is a cool looking Alex Ross, don't get me wrong, but when you see the Sway cover with Ironheart on it, Raymond Williams.
Is that the Black History Month variant?
Yeah, and I just didn't order it because I looked at my list and I went, this is fucking huge. I got to cut some things. So I was looking at the Black History Month covers and I went, you know what? I don't see anybody new. They say, this is going to be a Riri cover. This is going to be a Miles cover. I'm like, well, it doesn't sound like a new character. And they don't show the cover on FOC previews. So I didn't order it, my dumbass. And that's one of those things that's a lesson from doing this for 34 freaking years. And you look at FOC and you don't see a picture. Half the time, that no picture, if you don't order it, you're going to regret it. I did. Speaking of, there was one of those covers for even Miles Morales, where it was a cool one, him holding a boombox. Didn't order it, my dumbass. But here's the regular 35. Still a great cover. And you
Is it
have
still clones, or is the clone thing over?
so clone thing is over. You still have his sort of clone brother, and he's a big goopy creature, and he's going by another name now. But you have the torture guy back, and that's the assessor, and Quantum has one of the Infinity Gems. So things aren't looking so good for Miles today, which means it's going to be a good issue. Speaking of things not going well, Ms. Marvel apparently lost her powers, and in this issue here, she has a doppelganger running around. We get to find out who that is. If I was guessing, or if I was a betting man, considering that they're modifying Ms. Marvel for the Disney Plus series, they're going to take away her stretchy abilities in this series and introduce her Green Lantern power, whatever. Bracelets? Now her bracelets can be Green Lantern, only blue. Which is going to have a hard time for that other character that they introduced with almost the exact same power, Amulet. Hey, it's the final issue of Phoenix Song. I wonder if she's going to keep the powers or if it's going to be dispersed back into the universe, again. Shang-Chi, latest issue. And not just the latest issue. You got to get Gwen, especially when Gwen is Gambit. And when they decide to do the Gwenverse, which is coming, I think, next month, maybe one of those people will stick. This has been kind of fun. I like this better than the last series that came out, but this one you have Luna Snow from Agents of Atlas. Were you going to say something, Kirk?
I didn't know they were doing a Gwenverse.
Yeah, that's the next one. The Phoenix Song. Man, I can't even sing the Eagles Hotel California because you don't check in, but you're going to check out at the end of the episode. Next up, Silver Surfer Rebirth #2. I like these old style with the picture box. I miss these so much. You don't know what you're missing until they're gone.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Strange Academy #16. I don't think this is the last issue, but it might be. Or maybe it's 18. I can't remember. But it's coming to a conclusion and fast. Here's the character spotlight version of Ava. She's the cousin of Reptile. And I didn't know that until today. How the hell did I not know that? I'm slipping my old age. Don't get old. Speaking of getting old, I did not order this on FOC. So when my cool ass comic book dealer, John, Miami Fresh, you can find him over on Instagram. You can find him at Miami Fresh Comics. I'm going to see if I can bring the banner up for him. But he does a claim sale usually on Thursdays. But this week he's going to be doing it on Sunday. And just trying to find that little graphic there. There it is. Miami Fresh Comics on Instagram. This is where I pick up my comics. He's going to be doing a sale Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Sunday. Do not ever ask me to recreate the voice of Sam Kinison. So this last book is the second print variant. This one is the first cover of Frank Castle in his his updated, modified, hey, let's not recruit Proud Boys anymore, or Republicans or the GOP because they're tending to kill people with our logo. So we modified it. First time they used it on a cover, this issue. But there was another one I kind of wanted more. And that one was the one with a very simple M, and a circle and a line. Because Miracle Man is being introduced to the Marvel Universe. And those are all the comic books that came out this week that I picked up and the rest of the crew. So we're coming up on the end of the episode here. So I want to throw it around to the rest of the people on our crew to see what is going on in the comic book community. Ace, anything going on the Twitter sphere or appearing anywhere?
Nope. Not doing a damn thing.
Kirk?
Living that life. Yes, I have a show that I just previously did on Tuesday with JP Pudgy Collects. We talked about the I think it was 102 until 120 of Invincible. So that
Oh,
was
you
great.
got to that issue. 112.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very. It was very. I was not expecting that. So wrong. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But yeah,
They do address it later on towards the end of the series, and it works, but let's just say there's kind of a reason why I felt a little sketchy about keeping my entire Invincible collection. Similar
yeah,
to the
I
same
can see
reason-
why. I can see why people jumped off if they have some trauma when it comes to that.
just like
Yeah.
Walking Dead, great comic, even though it had some dead portions here and there. Great comic. It helped save the comic book industry when it needed it most for graphic novels, and it helped with the TV show. But what they did to Michonne in issue 28, even the artist Charlie Rathburn did not want to do that issue because of what they did to Michonne. But then you got to, I think it was 31 or 34, where the governor gets his payback. But still, just that one issue, I would never have to want to explain to a future person that gets with me to go, hey, you read Walking Dead too? Can I read it too? Yeah, okay. And I forget about it. And then they get to that issue. Rob, we need to have a conversation. Why? Open up to page 16. Oh, fuck. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Can you explain why you have this? It was a hit comic. Rob, I'm leaving you.
Oh,
So that's why it's important to be careful what you own in your comic collection. You never know who's going to look at it.
dun, dun, dun.
So, Sebastian, I'm going to leave you with the last word. Where can people find you on the Twitter sphere, the Instagram sphere, the sphere, all the spheres?
In Twitter, Sebastián Píriz. And you put it there. Yes. Instagram also, but I almost don't use Instagram, and I keep Facebook for family. I almost don't use Facebook either. So Twitter, there. Sebastián
Check
Píriz.
out his Twitter. Remember, everybody, We Ride Titans #1 is already out on store shelves. If you can't find it, look at it for Comixology if you want to read it legally, and order it on eBay
Please.
or Instagram from somebody that already purchased a copy. Otherwise, if you want to support your local comic shop, do hit over there and check it out, but try and call them first so you're not digging through a bunch of stuff and ripping covers off of books. I watched that happen today. That's painful. So that has been another episode of Not Near Mint. Sebastian, again, thank you so much for coming on the episode tonight. It's approaching 1:12 in the morning for you, or 100 hours. Holy crap.
Yes. Thank you very much for inviting me. It was very fun. I was able to relax. That's good.
And hopefully we made you feel comfortable, that you didn't say anything you didn't want to say, and you feel good at the end of the night, and you don't wake up going tomorrow going, oh God, what did I do?
Every single time, because I know I'm awkward, but it was great.
Dude, my last name is Worst.
At least your last name is not Nervous.
My full name is Rob Worst. I can only have so many jobs, because would you buy a car from someone who's going to rob you in the worst way? Hey, I'm going to write a comic book. I was a comic book artist. Hey, he's going to work on a new comic book adaptation of Great Expectations, but it's drawn by Rob Worst.
My word.
It wasn't so great. It was the worst. It was the best of times.
Anyway, whatever.
You can tell I practiced this shit. So yes,
Yes.
this has been another episode of Not Near Mint. Again, thank you everybody out there for watching. Replay viewers, live viewers, we love you all the same. We do this show every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So remember to click that like if you like the show. Click the down like if you didn't. We don't care. It's all views to us. Otherwise, if you like the show, subscribe to us, because we could always use more people to know that we exist in the world, because we appreciate you, the viewer. Now, next week, we are going to have a very special guest for episode 133. It is going to be Marcus Patton with the 3 Deaths of Willis Waterhouse. So if you want to promote your book, I know, Ignacio, you're out there, and we got to hook up something very quickly. So you can email us at notnearmint@gmail.com to promote your book, and we'll get it out there for you. Because speaking of, we even have Sharon Brown, Rena Brown, daughter, who's putting out a new book, and we're going to be talking about that also next week. So take a look at take a look at my Instagram page, which, yes, I am now posting back on Instagram. You can find it at Not Near Mint, and Twitter. I'm always haunting there, so that's how you can find me. And that has been another episode of Not Near Mint. Thank you so much, everybody. We love you. That is the book right there, the first book. Show it again, Kirk.
Oh, I love the dark. It's really great.
Looking forward to the new book. And we're going to have to get Rena back on the show, right?
Definitely.
So that's been our show. Good night, everybody. We do love you, and we will see you again in a week. And I'll see you on Fantastic. So we're going to play us out. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see this episode again, along with a catalog of back episodes and issues, surf on over to Not Near Mint on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications.